All right. Real quick, I'll do an intro while Kate's getting ready. We picked up a pumpkin from Walmart about a week or two ago, and she's decided to go ahead and carve her first jack-o'-lantern since she's been here. So I thought I'd make a video of her, design and carving it and stuff. So she's getting ready, and I'll try to set the camera up where we can, watch her do some artwork on a jack-o'-lantern. Oh, I hear my girl. You all Halloweeny and stuff? Well, we'll take a look at what you look like here in just a second then. Yeah. Subs want to know. Yeah. Yeah, they want to see you all decorated and stuff. Ooh. You got your hat on and your shirt and your spooky pants. Wow. Where'd you get those from? Those are cool. I haven't seen them.
Oh, I got this from Lakeside Collection so many years ago. It's not even gotta be what? Back in the early 2000s.
Oh, wow.
So these gotta be 14, 15 years old.
Well, you got your little hat on.
It's mine.
You got it from Dollar Tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh, you look festive and stuff. Well, let's see what you're going to do with this here jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, you can have one ourselves.
Yeah. I even found you a marker in case you wanted to draw your face and stuff on it.
Good drawing. Everybody know how messy it is, Subs. It's messy. It's real messy. So I haven't done this in a year.
No, this ought to be interesting.
Yeah. Get ready for the mess.
No. Well, we got plenty of paper.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was only $2, so I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah. $2.
Yeah, because if I had made a jack-o'-lantern, I'd just left it out on the porch. For the fall. It's not going to last very long after you cut it. But
You're reading the comics.
let's see. First we're going to put on old Jack here.
Yeah, give him a scary face.
Let's have him scurry.
You used to do this back in the day up in the Berg.
Yeah, I used to do it a lot, but I got so busy over the years, that I stopped. So I haven't done this, and I couldn't tell you when was the last time I carved a pumpkin. I think it was in the 90s.
Wow.
Because I started getting busy with school and work when I was Shibuti.
Shibuti.
Yeah, I was so poor, Subs. I couldn't afford stuff like this.
Well, you had with a shoe and a boot.
Yeah,
That's
because I couldn't afford 2 shoes and 2 boots.
Oh my.
Shibuti. That's what we call it, Subs. Shibuti. When you're going through, a hard time, we call that Shibuti.
No. Well, you ain't Shibuti no more.
No, but it was my own fault I was Shibuti, Subs. I had to deal with the consequences of bad decisions that I made.
Scary relationships.
Yep. Scary relationships, Subs.
Mm.
They're not all rainbows and unicorns.
Well.
Yep. So when you do something wrong, you gotta fix it or deal with the aftermath. And that's what I had to do, Subs. I had to deal with the aftermath. I married the wrong person. I didn't know it at the time, but I found out quick enough.
Oh, he's going to have some of them summer teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Some are there, some are not.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he's gonna look like, sir. At least I hope. Sometimes, you know how it goes, subs. Sometimes it don't quite turn out. Like, I've had a few times when I was supposed to cut out a tooth and I cut the tooth off. So, you know, I mean, but still.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have to clean the insides out, or you?
Oh, yeah, you got to clean all that out.
See, it's been a long time since I've done this, so.
You got to cut the top off so you can get in there.
Oh. That's a pretty sharp knife, or you need something sharper?
There's a small one in the green thing there.
Oh, the green thing? Not too small?
No, there's another big knife in there.
Oh, no, you want a big knife?
Mm-hmm.
Like this?
Yep, that's it.
There you go.
I need a Jason knife.
Oh. It's kind of like performing surgery.
Well, no, not quite like this, no. Those knives are sharp. All you have to do is touch something and it'll flay it.
Wow.
But these, you know, you got to be careful with pumpkins that you cut yourself too.
Oh, can't have that.
No.
So we gotta protect our girl.
Scroll with pumpkins. And they're so messy.
The joys of
Holidays.
of Halloween.
I like Halloween subs. I always did. Besides the horror movies on AMC, they always used to have Monster Fest. Now I think it's Fear Fest now. But back in the day it was Monster Fest. And they had movies from like the whole weekend. Especially if Halloween was on a weekend. Man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's Halloween, but they would save the best ones, like the old ones, like the old Frankenstein, the old Dracula, the old Wolfman, the original Halloween. I'm sure they still play them.
From, when was that, the 40s or 50s?
What?
Original?
They're from the 30s.
Oh, the 30s, okay.
Yeah, Frankenstein, all that. I think that's, what, 31?
Oh, wow.
32? Something like that. That's ancient.
Back during the dinosaur age.
Mm-hmm. They were still swimming down, killing people. Oops. I haven't done this for a long time. You can tell.
Hmm. Yeah, last year you had your Halloween stories,
Yeah.
and this year it's carving your own jack-o'-lantern.
Carving.
You say you want me to use my fist to knock the top out?
Oh, you want to knock the top out?
Yeah, I'm just saying maybe it'll help. Yeah. Because I'm helping my girl.
He's helping subs.
There we go. Ooh. Now, these are a delicacy. These pumpkin seeds. Some people actually, eat them like sunflower seeds.
Well, you can put they'll dry them, put salt on them.
Yeah, that's what people do, but you're probably not going to do that.
No.
You want to save some of the seeds and plant your own pumpkins?
And if you want to.
Well, maybe. You never know. Want to get you a bowl or something to put the seeds in? That would be good. Use something like that. Need a big spoon?
That's what it looked like, Sibs. Of course, you already know, but all that got to be cleaned out.
Something like this? You want a metal?
I don't think this is strong enough.
Okay. A bit.
It's a mess, Sibs. It always has been. Nobody's ever had to deal with it. Well, it's time for some scary stories, Sibs.
Oh, you got a scary story?
Yeah. Subs, I've already told you about Ouija boards. Stay the hell away from that.
Darn them Ouijas.
And keep your kids and your grandkids away from Ouija boards.
Wheezy or Ouija?
Oh, Ouija boards. Wow.
Yeah, I'm
people
feeling.
go messing with themselves, and they don't know what they're doing.
I'm feeling wheezy.
Yeah. They have no idea what they're getting into. Especially these college kids this time of year. They seem to think it's some kind of tradition. It's harmless. It's not. It's not at all.
You're playing with fate.
Yes, you are. Especially if you're responsible for bringing something forth that wasn't supposed to be here. But you brought it here because you thought it was something else. Because it's going to lie to get here. And once it's here, you can't get rid of it because it's not going to go back. So it's going to do whatever it can not to go back.
I wonder if that's what happened over at that spook house across the street.
Somebody rented that thing. A friend of Richard's.
Yeah, I actually know the guy.
Rented the spooky house. He should have talked to Richard first.
Yeah.
Since he's right across the street, and asked him, hey, do you know about any information about that house over there? Because I want to rent it. But he didn't do that. He just went ahead, and he shouldn't have did that because there's something over there.
Because he contacted me and saying he was going to rent it, and now he's trying to get out of it because his grandmother's having medical issues. He's from Honduras, so he's got to send money down there to help, but he doesn't have it now because he's already put this money down on a deposit, and the landlord's not going to give it back because he signed a contract. But that's a whole other mess, so he may or may not.
Yeah, he may or may not. If he knows what's going on, because he wanted to come over and rent the cottage again.
Yeah, he rented it about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah,
and
he left then.
Yeah, he left then after a month. So I'm
that's not good.
No, so I like him, but I'm not going to go through that again. But anyway, back to the Ouija board.
Yeah, don't mess with them. These stupid college kids think it's a joke to do that. It's not. Not at all. Those things are dangerous. And why do they sell them? I don't know. People make their own. Why would you do something dumb like that? I don't know. Because you don't know what you're doing. And you think you're talking to your friends or that passed away or family members that passed away. The problem is, whatever you think you're contacting, they know that.
You're probably talking to
God knows what you're talking to.
Probably talking to a shady car salesman. Oh yeah, this is a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
Just let me out, and I'll show you how it's all what it's all about.
But that's just it, Subs. I'm gonna tell you something. Nothing evil can come forth unless you say it's okay. You have to invite it. They can't just come. You have to invite it. So if they're like asking you questions, do you want me to stay? Can I stay with you? You should stop right then.
Yeah.
Right then and there.
Yeah, I'll be your friend till the end.
Yeah. If you have a relative or a dead friend or something that wants to contact you, they'll contact you. You don't try to bring back the dead. Only 3 entities can grant you that. And that's God, Jesus, and Lucifer. They're the only three entities that ever had the power of resurrection.
Damn that Lucifer.
Yeah. And Lucifer will do it. Sure, he'll do it. But there's a price to pay for that.
Yeah, you could turn into a Karen chasing down a manager.
Mm-hmm. Damn you, Karen.
Yeah.
You know, and God and Jesus, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. But people will ask Satan to do it. He'll do it. But there's a price for that. And you don't get to pick when he comes for that. He'll just come. So you better know what you're doing. Making these bargains. People who want fame and money and all of that, there's a price for that. They didn't just get it off of their talent. A lot of times they made deals they shouldn't have made, but they'll find that out later. But you don't do that. You don't contact the dead, period. We're forbidden to do that. We are forbidden to contact the dead. We're not supposed to know the future. And we're forbidden to do that, but people do it anyway. Because God's not going to stop you. Because you have free will, but he also is not going to cushion you from the consequences of your stupidity. He's not going to do that either. So, just don't do it. Because you're contacting the dead for what? What are you disturbing them for? When you more likely you just want something stupid. Believe me, if they're trying to help you, they'll contact you. All you got to do is go to sleep. And they'll come to you in dreams and stuff, but you do not, under any circumstances, contact the dead. Don't do that. Because that never ends well. And you damn sure don't try to do it with a Ouija board. You don't know who the hell you're talking to. Especially if you really, really miss somebody and you're depressed and everything, you figure, well, I'll try to contact it. Because whatever's on the other end, that what you're doing, they know that. They know that. You're depressed and you're unhappy and you're grieving, so they're going to do whatever they can to get on your good side. So that they can ask you, well, can I come back and stay and talk to you? And you say yes, that's it for you. Because you're tainted, because you brought something here that we're not allowed to do. We are forbidden to do that. So don't do it. And tell your kids and your grandkids and your stupid friends. They're more than likely, they're going to try to do it anyway. But the consequences that come along with that, oh well.
Like the joke around here, what's the last thing a redneck says before he dies? Hey, y'all, watch this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, how did that happen? Yep, that's all you can do. You can't save somebody from their self-saves. If they're just hell-bent on doing something, they're going to do it. And something else, subs. Show respect in a cemetery. Because not everything in a cemetery is good either. And it's watching. There's always somebody or something watching when you go to the cemetery. And if you show respect, it's not going to bother you. But if you go there showing disrespect, like a lot of people do, then, and don't go at night with your drunk friends. That's very disrespectful. How would you like somebody to be on your front porch drinking with their friends, acting a fool? You're not going to put up with that. So why would you go to a graveyard doing that? Don't do stupid stuff like that. That stuff has happened to people who've done that too. So don't do it. And your pitiful little phone is not going to work if something's chasing you.
Suddenly you lose that 4G or 5G.
Yeah, you're going to lose everything because it's going to take the energy from your phone. Electronics, as we all know, don't always work in places where there's entities because it needs that power. And you're being stupid having seances or whatnot in a cemetery. Really? How dumb are you? You don't disturb cemeteries. You leave cemeteries alone. And don't touch anything. If you see flowers or gifts or toys, don't touch them, because that's not yours. That's not for you to do. Because, there's always going to, like I said, there's always going to be stupid people. I don't care. I mean, when God told people, don't go over there. You can go anywhere you want. You're free to do whatever you want. Just don't go over there. What'd they do? They went over there.
I'm going over there.
I'm going over there.
What's the big deal?
Ooh.
I'm cursed.
Yeah. How come we can't go over there? Because I just told you not to. That should be good enough.
No doesn't mean yes.
Yep. No means no. What they do, made a beeline right over there. Well, you can't sit up there and say, oh, well, this person made me do... you got a mouth. You could have said, no, I ain't doing that. If you did it, oh, well, I'm not doing it. So anyway, here's a spooky tale about somebody who didn't leave something alone at the graveyard because they wanted it. And they figure, well, the person's dead, so nobody will know. That's the thing, subs. They do know.
Oops.
Whoops.
You poked the eye out.
Yeah. I poked the eye. Well, anyway, there was this stupid woman who...
Named Karen?
No.
Oh, this not looking for a manager?
No, she wasn't looking for a manager. No, she would go to the graveyard, to visit her parents and everything. It was a nice graveyard. And people would leave offerings there. Of course, you know, money, purses, flowers, stuff like that. Sometimes, she was real stingy. So she didn't really believe in spending money that much. You figure she'd go to the graveyard and get stuff. Which everybody should know better than to do that.
Oh, really? Going to pick up some flowers or gifts from the souvenir, or souvenirs from the graveyard?
Yeah, if it's in the graveyard, don't you bring that shit home.
Wow.
You got a problem when you do that. You don't go to graveyard stealing, which people do it, but they find out too late that they shouldn't have did that. But then there's people who are just damn stupid. They just don't care. They're stupid. But you don't touch things in the graveyard and bring it home. So anyway, she went to visit her parents, and she saw it was a really nice perfume bottle, like from the old days, the old kind that they had the stopper in it. They had the scent in it. It was like shaped like a diamond. It was pretty. It was blue. It was sitting on an old grave, not far from where her parents' grave was, and I guess she was wondering who left it there, which was none of her business. But the grave was old and neglected, but that's more the graveyard's fault, not so much the family. But anyway, she saw this perfume bottle and decided, oh, I would like that. And stole it. And took it home, like a moron. And what she didn't know was that the person who had brought it there had recently died. So, and they were buried not too far from this other forgotten grave. So, but like I said, she wasn't paying attention because she was selfish and greedy. So she wasn't worried about nothing. She just figured she had got something for free. Ain't nothing free. So she took it on home.
Oh, if it's free, it's not for me?
No, if it's in a graveyard, you don't touch anything in a graveyard. You don't go to a graveyard screaming and hollering and laughing and acting like a damn fool. You show respect. And then you don't go there stealing. There's people who have stolen stuffed animals and lived to regret it. But this fool stole a perfume bottle, an old antique one. She figured, oh, well, nobody will know. Somebody did know. Something new. So nothing happened. She took it home, cleaned it up, and put, I guess, whatever her favorite scent was in there. So things started going wrong. Not at first, but things started to go wrong. And she couldn't figure it out. She didn't put two to two together until she started talking about it to her friends and stuff. And they were like, when her friends would come over, she would show them the bottle, and they're like, oh, where'd you get that? She said, oh, from the graveyard. It was on this grave. And of course they were appalled, like, no, you need to take that back. You don't do stuff like that. Well, why? It's just because it was on a grave. How do you know the person in the grave? That wasn't like their favorite thing. You need to take that back, because that's dangerous. You should never do anything like that. But of course, oh, what's going to happen? Oh, those are just stories. Ah, blah 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 blah. Okay, she didn't listen. So stuff started going wrong in her house. She started to see things. So
you took the perfume.
Yep, she took it, and she had an attic and a basement. And, she was just asking for it, wasn't she, son?
A dungeon and a spooky attic.
She was just asking for it. So she went on to bed, didn't listen to her friends. Of course not. They don't know what they're talking about. So she started hearing walking up in her attic. It sounded like walking. She couldn't figure out, what in the world is going on. So she took a flashlight and went up there looking around, didn't see nothing. Came back down. Went on back to bed. And what happened was, whatever was up there, it wasn't interested in her at first, because it was like giving her a chance to put it back. So she started having really bad nightmares. And she was getting visions and stuff, telling them, put that back. That's not yours, put it back. She wouldn't listen. You want to push the mouth out?
Yeah, there's part of it. There we go. Ooh.
It's a pumpkin subs.
We'll throw it outside for the
Oh,
the wildlife. Oh, did you?
Yeah. Well, anyway, so she kept hearing noises up in the attic, and she would go up in the attic, have her little candle with her, because she's too cheap to have a flashlight. So she would never see anything, but she would hear it. She would always hear it come right to the door to the attic, but she couldn't see anything. So, she just thought, well, it's just my imagination or whatever. It's just a house. I'm making too much of it. Blah, 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 blah.
Yabba dabba do.
Yeah. So, in the morning, she had a delivery. So she wanted to take it up into the attic. So when she went up in the attic, she would see footprints. But being nobody had been up there without shoes on, she didn't know. She thought maybe there was somebody up there hiding. So she called the police and everything. Police came, went up there, looked around, saw the footprints, and looked around, but they didn't see anything. So they thought, well, we'll keep an eye on the house. So when they went outside to talk to her, you let her know, you just keep calling. And they just happened to be down in the lane, and they just happened to look up, and there was something looking at them from the attic, even though they had just been in the attic. And the police officer saw, she had her back to the house, but the police officer was talking to her. There was two of them, and they looked up and they saw, there was something up there, and it didn't look like a person. They said it looked like some kind of an animal. But it was looking down at them, and when they looked back up, it was gone. So they went back up there and looked and looked and looked, and there was nothing up there. So anyway, they told her, if there's a problem, just give us a call and we'll come back. So, okay, time went on, and she still kept hearing noises up in the attic. Every night she heard these noises up in the attic, and then it started coming down to her room, because that's where what she didn't notice at first was wherever it was right above where the perfume bottle was. She didn't notice that at first, but that came to her later on, once it came downstairs. And she had it over there on the dresser, and near the window, because there was a window in her room. Then when you go up in the attic, there was like a little triangle window. That's where the policeman saw whatever it was up in her house. And she still didn't get rid of it at first. So then it came downstairs and started standing in her doorway looking at her. Now, from what she said it was huge. It was real big, and it had these orange eyes, and it wouldn't come in at first. It just stood there in the doorway looking at her, but it was pointing over towards the dresser. It had its arm out, it had a big old arm, and it was pointing towards the dresser, because that's where she had that bottle, that perfume bottle that didn't belong to her. And at first, like everybody does, she's trying to convince herself she's not really seeing this, and this, that, and the other, but she was seeing it. But she still didn't heed the warning. Okay. So what it did is that it's like, okay, you're just stupid, so I'm just going to have to go all out Viking on your dumbass. So it just kept getting closer and closer and closer to her, and in her bedroom and all, until it was right there by her bed. And it was standing there on the foot of her bed, pointing over towards. She knew what it was doing. It was pointing towards the perfume bottle. Put the perfume bottle back. But she said it didn't speak to her or anything. It didn't try to hurt her. It was just looking at her, and that was enough. And then it was pointing over, because when she turned the light on, it was still there. It didn't leave. So, and it kept pointing over. And she said it looked like some kind of goat or something. And,
I'm pointing.
Oh, yeah. And she said it didn't speak to her at all. It just kept standing. Every night it would be standing at the bottom of her bed. Every night it would be standing there, pointing over towards the perfume bottle. So after a while, she just figured she would throw the perfume bottle away.
Oh, perfect.
Instead of putting it back in the cemetery where she found it. What an idiot. So it went through a couple of days of this, but every time she would throw it out, it would come right back and sit there. She would find it like on the kitchen counter, kitchen table, in her bedroom. It wouldn't leave because she didn't put it back. So it got to the point, I guess this creature or whatever it was just got fed up with her. Like, look, you're being stupid. So what it did was that there was this big picture it was a big mirror up at the top of her steps, and right next to it was a picture. So she was going up the steps one night, and she did have the lights on at the top of the steps, not at the bottom when she came up to the landing. So when she was just about to turn the light out, and there it was. It was right there in the mirror. It wasn't even trying to hide anymore. You moron. So, when she was going to turn out the light, she looked in the mirror and she saw it. And then, but it was far away. But when she turned around again, it was right up on her. And she fell down the stairs.
Oh, my. But that left a mark.
Yeah. So, and then she said it just stood up at the steps for a while looking at her. And then it just started coming down the steps. It wasn't hurrying or nothing. It just came. She laying there. She wasn't hurt. She was just scared. She laying there looking all stupid. And it came down and just stood a couple of steps up from her and kept pointing up. Because she was dumb enough to put the bottle back up on the dresser again. So.
Common sense ain't that common.
Yeah, no, it's not. So she figured it out. So what she did was that she went and after she got her dumb ass up, she went and got the old antique perfume bottle and put it back. Got in her car, went back to the graveyard, put it back on the grave. Okay, everything stopped after that. But when she went back home, there were these feet, like all the way in different parts of the house, where she had kept the perfume bottle that she didn't notice before, but there was like footprints all over the place, and they were dirty footprints, and most of them were like coming down the steps towards her. And of course she went and cleaned it up and everything, all except a few, because she wanted people to know what happened. She called the police and everything, and they were looking. They had no explanation for that. So because the way the feet were, it wasn't people feet. So they did. I don't know what they didn't know what to do, because they weren't a human's foot.
They were probably aminal feet.
Yeah, they were aminal feet. So they were asking her, questions, and she finally had to tell them that she took something from a graveyard. And of course, that's a no-no. You don't do stuff like that. And they were like, well, the only thing we can tell you is to put it back. You don't take anything from the graveyard, because that belongs to whoever, that person thought enough of them to leave it there. Why would you take it? Oh, I didn't think anybody would mind it. Well, obviously something did. And they said more than likely, it's not the person that you stole from. And more than likely it was something they sent to get it back. So you're messing around with things you shouldn't be messing with. When you go to the graveyard, go pay your respects to your people, show respect to the other graves. If they have weeds on, you can pull the weeds and stuff like that. Maybe try to clean up their tombstone a little bit if you feel, sorry for the person, look like their grave is being neglected or something like that. But you're not allowed to steal, period. You don't take anything from the dead. You're just asking for it. You are asking for it. So, and she had told her friends the next day, she had told them what happened, and they were saying how stupid she was to even thought that she was going to get away with that. Why would you take that? You don't take stuff from the dead. Are you crazy? So, because everybody know that saying, if somebody really wants something, and when that person was alive, they didn't give it to you, or they didn't want you to have it, and they take it once the person dies, it's not going to last. It's going to break, or it's not going to work anymore, because they didn't want you to have it. Everybody knows that. There have been too many cases of people who were greedy, and they wanted something from their grandmother or their aunt or their mom, or even family members, and they were like, no, I'm not giving that to you. And they waited until that person died and just went to the house and took it. And it didn't last. Everybody knows stories like that. Either if it was a clock, it didn't work anymore. If it was China or something, somehow they got broke. Nothing lasts when you steal from the dead. That is not a good thing. That is really not a good thing.
Well, there you go. So there's your jack-o'-lantern and a spooky story for
spooky,
Halloween.
Subs.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Yeah, don't take stuff.
Yes.
So, and don't mess with Ouija boards, because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, so this has worked out pretty good with the camera. The light looks pretty good in the camera.
Yeah.
So.
That's one of my fake plastic candles, Subs.
Yep. I think that would work pretty good for the next few days.
Yeah, because it'll only last for, now that it's been cut and it's open to the elements. Of course, it's only gonna last a few days.
Yeah. So, well, we'll wrap this video up and hope you enjoyed Kate carving her first jack-o'-lantern here and telling a spooky story for
It's creepy as spooky stuff.
Yeah, for Halloween 2020. So, yeah, until the next thrilling did yeah. Probably, yeah, be nice and spookyful and stuff.
It's spookyful, subs.
Yeah. So, till then, adios.
Bye, subs.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Turned out really good.
Yeah.